Emily Murphy is not a name that most people would likely know, but she has a really important job that she is refusing to do. So now she is the head of the General Services Administration. And one of the duties that she has in that job is signing off on the general election, a process that is called ascertainment. So once she signs off on that, that means that Joe Biden would be able to, as president-elect, start, assembling his cabinet, putting everything together, having meetings, getting briefings on COVID, for example, as well as on national security. And so it really opens a lot of avenues for the administration to get set up to take over on January 20th. So now she has not signed that paperwork. She has not ascertained the results of the election. Well, that's interesting because Joe Biden has clearly won the election. He has 306 electoral votes, and he has 5 million more votes in the popular vote. And so, I mean, it's pretty clear who the winner is. Okay. And look, yes, I realize that there's a recount going on in Georgia, but of course, experts are saying that there's not going to be enough to overturn the results in Georgia. Joe Biden just has too big of a lead. And then you also have other challenges in court that keep getting tossed out. So these are dumb challenges, okay? For example, there was one with some hearsay on a Post-it note, okay? Another court challenge involved them being a non-zero number of people in the room that were supposed to oversee the election. Now, Republicans said there was nobody in the room, there's nobody in the room, but even the lawyers had to admit, since they were under oath, that there actually was people in the room. And so these are the ridiculous things, okay, that the Republicans are doing, all right, to try to overturn the results of the election, and they are not working. So, and it's very obvious that there's not going to be enough to overturn the results of this election. So what is she waiting for? What is the holdup? Why is she not signing the paperwork that she's supposed to sign? Again, we've had a lot of different places now begin to certify the election results. What is she waiting for? Well, now sources say that Murphy is working to interpret vague agency guidelines and follow what she sees as precedent to wait to sign off on the election result, which has led to condemnation, of course, and pressure from both sides. Of course, Donald Trump says, don't sign the papers, don't sign the papers. And the other side, the Trump and the MAGA people say, don't sign the papers. And she's gotten death threats from MAGA people, okay? And yet, the other side says, sign the paper. You got to sign the paper. Biden won. And so, speaking of pressure, by the way, Midas Touch put out an ad about this, and it's kind of awesome. Let's take a look.
Meet Emily Murphy, a political hack, a traitor, appointed by Donald Trump to lead the General Services Administration, the GSA. What has Emily done? Rooftop sex parties. Emily was A-OK with alcohol ragers and rooftop sex parties at taxpayer expense at her government office. Swamp monster. Emily Murphy worked with Trump to prevent the FBI from moving its D.C. office space to help the Trump Hotel across the street. She tried covering it up to Congress.
Was the president or anyone at the White House involved in those discussions?
Sir, to my knowledge, the direction that we got came from the FBI.
We now know, in fact, that the president ordered this decision, which has the effect of benefiting his hotel and his own financial bottom line.
Sedition. And now Emily Murphy created chaos by unlawfully refusing to sign paperwork to permit a smooth transition to President-elect Biden, placing our lives at risk.
What do you see as the biggest threat to your transition right now, given President Trump's unprecedented attempt to obstruct and delay a smooth transfer of power?
More people may die.
Emily Murphy is a national disgrace. Tell Emily Murphy to sign the transition papers now. Midas Touch is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Rooftop sex parties. Wait. That kind of sounds fun. Maybe she's not so bad. No, I'm kidding, of course. Okay. But look, I didn't know about that, actually, so I went back and I looked at some of the articles, and yep, that kind of happened. I mean, she wasn't involved in any of them, obviously, but she did allow some drinking to happen, and then, of course, drinking at the office on, like, Fridays and all that. Well, I mean, yeah, at one point, it did turn into a rooftop sex encounter, so in the office. One of the staffers, apparently, was known to keep a bottle of vodka at his desk. So, fun times, right? But, all right, that said, I think that's less important. It is interesting, but it's less important than talking about her job, which she's supposed to be doing, right? And that is allowing for the peaceful transition of power by being able to, sign the paperwork that she needs to sign. So now, the other interesting thing is, according to sources talking to CNN, they say that Murphy is having a bit of a breakdown as a result of the pressure. Quote, she absolutely feels like she's in a hard place. I mean, sex party. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding about the sex parties. Okay. She's afraid on multiple levels. It's a terrible situation. One friend and former colleague of Murphy's told CNN, Emily's a consummate professional, a deeply moral person, but also a very scrupulous attorney who is in a very difficult position with an unclear law and precedents that is behind her stance. What precedents? She, like, Joe Biden won the election legitimately. Like, there's, again, if there was evidence of voter fraud, they would have presented it in court. Rudy Giuliani went to court yesterday, and there was a lot of bluster, but no evidence to back him up, to back up his grandiose claims. And so that's, unfortunately, for the Republicans, what we've seen over and over and over again, right? That there's no proof of widespread voter fraud. It just doesn't happen. It's not happening. Okay, it's not a thing. So that's it, right? She should be signing the paperwork. What is she waiting for? But no. Her friend continues. She's doing what she believes is her honest duty as someone who has sworn true allegiance to the Constitution of the United States of America and the laws that govern her position. No. Again, her duty is to the Constitution, okay, not to Donald Trump, which I think this is more of who she's actually serving, okay? And her loyalty has gone to Donald Trump because Trump gave her that position in the first place. And so the longer this goes on, and this is the problem, right? The longer this goes on, the worse it gets for the country. Again, the worse COVID gets because Donald Trump's given up on it. He doesn't care about COVID. He doesn't care if, that more and more people are dying each day, that we're having a 9/11 every day. I mean, or near. The more damage it does to the trust in our electoral system. Again, none of the voter fraud lawsuits have come up with anything. There's no merit in them. There's no massive voter fraud. There's no evidence that will overturn the election. There's literally no reason. No reason. Biden won. Just do your damn job. Just do the job. So I don't give a damn about your breakdown. What, you think the American people aren't having a breakdown right now? 250,000 people are dead from coronavirus. Come on. As the country's spiraling out of control. We have an economic crisis and no stimulus to help. We have a wannabe fascist that is attempting to steal the election, and you're literally helping him by not doing your fucking job. And it gets better, by the way. According to ABC News, she has been, while she is not signing the paperwork in order to initiate a transition, she's actually been out shopping on a new job. According to reports from ABC News, Murphy recently sent a message to an associate inquiring about employment opportunities come 2021. A move that some in Washington interpreted as at least tacitly acknowledging that the current administration will soon be gone. Well, yeah. So she's going to go and she's going to set up her own career. but continues to refuse to certify the election, to ascertain the results of the election. That's amazing. Look, there's no amount of Republican copium that can fix this, okay? Trump lost. That's it. Do your fucking job and sign the paperwork already. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.